Hello class, this is my presentation on schooling and cultural autobiography. It is important for us to understand our own identity is complex. Our identity is determined by factors directly related to us and those of society. Identity can change in different moments throughout our lifespan. Everyone has a unique identity constructed by individual characteristics, culture, and social interactions of family and friends. Who am I? I have a love for learning, especially for history. I have respect for others and their opinions. I'm optimistic that with effort anything can be achieved. I'm determined and patient. During my adolescent years, I started to fully develop my identity, starting with the goals I aspired, selection of friends, and the significance of an education. Everything began to acquire more importance towards my future. I also began to learn and understand the different attitudes and opinions of peers and how they might challenge my own. In terms of ethnicity, I was born in Miguel Alemán, Tamaulipas, and lived in Mexico for 1 year. In 1996, my parents came to Roma, which is extremely close to the border. I grew up in a Mexican-American environment, and I'm proud of my background. In the Valley, there is not much cultural diversity, in contrast to other places like New York, with people from different ethnicities. In terms of culture, my cultural identity has shaped and influenced the perception I have in society. My perspective on who I should become is influenced by values and beliefs. My culture is a part of me and an aspect that defines who I am. In terms of language, an important aspect of my identity is to be bilingual in Spanish and English. Being exposed to a dual language environment helped me develop cognitive skills. Both of my parents do not know English, nor my grandparents. My interaction with English as my second language goes all the way back to preschool. Knowing a second language has been part of my identity ever since I was 4 years old. In school, I learned English through instruction and interaction of peers. At home, Spanish was my first language, and I learned to reinforce my experiences with my learning in school. I have progressed in my language development ever since and have become fully aware of the diversity in language and culture. In terms of social class, I believe a socioeconomic status is part of a person's identity, but I believe it must not define anyone to stay the same. I come from a low-income family and I want an education to help my parents. Achieving my goal to become an educator has been a part of my identity. Since an early age, I was encouraged academically to pursue an education by my parents. I always knew that an education provided better opportunities for the future that my parents could not have. Back then, obtaining an education was not as accessible as today, with all the resources provided. Anyone who has the opportunity should value it and give their best effort to achieve their goals. A good education is the key to success. Social class should not be a barrier, but unfortunately it is. It is sad and unfair when students who have this opportunity take it for granted, especially when millions of children in developing countries dream for an education. In terms of gender, I'm an Hispanic female. Hispanic culture is associated with distinct gender roles. For example, men are the providers of the household, and women are care for the house and children. This has been a traditional lifestyle that is slowly changing. Now, there are more women in the workforce who provide for their families. This is a part of my identity because I have always pursued to have an education, to be self-independent and not depend on the spouse like it was before. In terms of age, my schooling experiences through the years have helped define my identity. I have experienced an increased growth from 19 to 23 years. I have learned who I am and have developed a direction for my future. Schooling experiences. My elementary school years was shaped by my development in learning new things, to understand more about both languages and the interaction of home and school. My middle school years were characterized by my understanding and interaction with others. I was very shy, and this carried to high school. My high school years confronted me to realize several aspects of myself: who I wanted to be, what I wanted for my future, what types of friends or influences I wanted or not, etc. I did not belong in the popular circle and focused more on school responsibilities. School does have an important impact on self-identity, specifically high school, because of the increased level of socialization and exposure to new experiences. I feel that college was the most significant aspect in the process of my identity, which has provided me with a defined self concept of who I am. I have learned what are my strengths and weaknesses, and also provided me with the necessary determination and effort required to achieve my goals. But most importantly, I learned and changed in positive ways. My experience in school and receiving an education has deeply rooted my identity. It created my progress where I had learned who I am and my perspective of others. I developed a comprehensive self perception of my role in society.